Hello. This one we're doing some linear functions. Let me see the entire worksheet. This is week 1 of distance learning for Math 3A. Let's see, I want to get my papers ready. I think this is it. Yeah. So I got some graph paper. Should have been a little bit more prepared, but just bought myself 400 pages of graph paper. Let's see. Since we're doing graphs, might as well use it. Okay, let's see. We're talking about linear functions. Or no, we're talking about y and x intercepts. Okay. And on lines. Okay. Let's see. Let's draw. Here we go. Here's our x and y. Now, right here, as you could tell, it says, what are the x and y intercepts for the following graphs? I'm not going to be doing this worksheet, but I'm going to be doing similar problems, which you can apply to this. First off, let me just say, what is x and y intercepts? Well, x and y intercepts are basically what does it mean by intercept? It basically means like where it crosses or it hits into it. Um, okay, I have my arm and it hits it at a certain point. It's not okay. Here's my hand. I'm not sure if you could tell. You could tell it's gonna hit it, boom, it's gonna hit it. It's at that point where it hits a certain, uh, well, in this case, the x and y intercept. Uh, what it means by x-intercepts, it basically means when it intercepts the x-axis. And what is the x-axis? This entire line. It goes on forever to the right and to the left. Now for the y, it's exactly the same thing. The only point where it intercepts both the y axis and the x axis is the origin, and this point is 0, 0. Let me just put that there. Okay, x-intercepts. Okay. Where is it on the? Oh, well, I kind of already explained it. But where is it on the graph? It's on the x-axis. Now, what does this mean? It means that the y is 0. There's no y value. It's at 0. Or there is a y value, but it's at 0. It's not a. You can look at it like, imagine this is like your. How do I say this? This is like the floor, like on a building. Like this is on the ground floor. There's no above or down. It's just completely flat. That's your x-axis. That's how you can look at it. And then your y-axis, it's like imagine you have a pole, and then when you pass it, wherever you pass the pole that goes like imagine you have a pole that goes infinitely going up and infinitely going down. Imagine you pass a pole right here. Then that means you pass the y-axis at this particular point. Now, what is the x-axis, or what is the x value at the y-axis? It's at 0. So whenever you see uh, or basically how you define a y-intercept is when the x is equal to 0. And then for x-axis, the x-intercept, it means when you set y is equal to 0. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Sorry I go all over the place because like I'm just going on the top of my head. I don't want to do redo, or I just want to be more natural. Okay, now let's just draw a line. Let's see. Let me see if I have something that I can make a straight line with. Let's see. Okay, let me use this. Let me draw a line. I'm just moving it around however I want it. I'm just gonna draw this. There, I drew a line. Now I want to figure out what is the x and y intercept for this. Now the point is when it crosses for the x-axis, when it crosses, the line crosses the x-axis, that's the x-intercept. Now when the line crosses the y-axis, that's the y-intercept. I'm not sure if you could tell. Let's see if I could zoom in a little bit. I don't think I could zoom in. Damn it. Let's see if I could just, let's see this. The idea is still the same. Do you see where it intercepts? At this point and this point. This is your x-axis. I'm just going to put a little x mark. And then this is your y, this is your x-intercept, and this is your y-intercept. Now I'm just going to do, these are each 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 1, 2, this is 3. Basically, you're going to look, okay, where's a point? It's between 3 and 4. I'm just going to say that's in between, like halfway in between of 3 and 4. And what's halfway in between 3 and 4? Well, 3.5. That's where it intercepts at this x-axis, or at this point. And what is your y at the x-axis? It's at 0 because there's no above or below. It's right on the, you can look at it like this is the ground floor. There's no, you're not going, it's just perfectly flat. That's the best way I could describe it, I think. Basically, when the point where it crosses the x-axis, and what is your y at the x-axis? It's at 0, or it's 0. Your y is 0. Let me actually write down your actual point. When you write down a point, it's always x comma y. X for the point on the x-axis, and then, or the number associated on the x-axis, and then your y is the number associated with the y-axis. So this x tells you if you're going left or right, and this y tells you if you're going up or down. Now, for the x intercepts, it's always x comma 0. Always. For your y-intercept, it's 0 comma y. We do not know what our x and y is. We're going to have to figure that out when we do the graph, but it's always in this format whenever you're talking about intercepts. Now, how you could tell if it's left or right, that determines where, okay, if you're going to the right, it's positive. This is the positive side of the x-axis, the negative side. This is the positive y-axis. This is the negative side. It's kind of like, let's see, for the y-axis, it's pretty simple. It's like above sea level and then below sea level. You basically going down, or what's another way of going below? Or like, or when you or going down, you're kind of, I would consider that negative. And then if you're going up, it's going positive. And then on for the x-axis, it's the right side is x, or the right side of the x-axis is plus, and then the left side of the x-axis is negative. Okay, so we said this is between 3 and 4. So I said it was 3.5. It looks about 3.5, roughly. Now, for this point, I'm not sure if you could tell, this is between -2 and -3. I would say it's very close to -3. It's not quite on -3, but it's somewhat close. I'm just going to say it's 2.8. -2.8 because it's going down below the x-axis. Anything below the x-axis, it's a negative y. And why don't I write first? Why do I not do this for this point? Why? Because we always use, damn, I should really make a better zoom in. Yeah, I'll try to figure it out next video. Okay, why don't I write this? There's two ways. That one is the correct way and one is the wrong way. This is wrong. Remember how I said you always have to have x comma y. X goes first, y goes second. This is your x value, and what is your x value at the y-axis? It's always 0. At the y-intercept, the y-axis, it's always the x value is always 0. And this is what we have. 0 is first, and then it's your x is first, your y is second. X is 0, y is -2.8. That's how I have, or that's what it looks like. Yeah, that's what I have. Let's see. And then let's see for your x axis. Like I said, x goes first, y goes second. The x-intercept, the y is always 0, and we said it was between 3 and 4. And I just said 3.5. Doesn't matter. The main idea is the x-intercept, your y is always 0 every time. Whenever you cross the x-axis, or on the x-axis, your y is 0. And then if you want to cross the y-axis, which is a y-intercept, x is always 0. I hope that's clear. Let's see. Let's draw another one, and it's hopefully each one of these little squares. Let's see if I can move it closer. Let's see. Hopefully it's a little bit closer. Yeah, we'll make do. I'll do a better job in the next video. Okay, let's draw another random line. Let's go, since we did it this way, let's do this way. Let's do this. We just drew a random line. The same idea. Just modifying this line a little bit. Okay, this is 1. This is at 0. Okay, I didn't do a really good job at drawing the line. Okay. Same idea. Let's draw our x and y axis. Label them. Okay. What is our y-intercept? It's on the y-axis. Now, where does the line cross? It crosses, that's why I was adjusting it. I'm going to say it's at 3. Look at where it is. It looks like it's right on 3, so I'm just going to say it's on 3. Now we need to draw or write down our point. Now what is our point? Remember how I said your y-intercept, it's always 0, comma y, whatever your y value is. Now, what is our x value? Well, it's on the y-axis, so that means it's always at 0. Your x is 0 on the y-axis. Anywhere on the y-axis, your x is always 0. Now, what is our y? It is, I say it's at 3. So 0, comma 3. Now for the x-intercept, where is it? It's about, oh, that's about right. It looks about like a third. 0.3. Let's just say 0.3. Like just away from 4. It's about 4.3. 4.3. Now, what is this number associated with 4.3? It's associated with x. That's our x value. How do you write down your point? It's x comma y. X goes first, and what is your y value at the x axis? It's always 0, and that's correlated to the x-intercept. Your x-intercept is always, the y value at the x-intercept is always 0 every single time. So it's 4.3 comma 0. That's your x-intercept. This is your y-intercept. I'm going to put it for the y, and this is for the x. I hope that's clear. Let's do another one. Let me do a better job doing these lines. Hopefully that's better. Let's see. Let's do something fun. Let's draw this line. Here's going to be interesting. This is good to know. Okay. This is our line, this vertical line. Now, let's first do the x-intercept. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. We're right on 4. So this is our point. This line crosses the x-axis at 4 on the x-axis. So what is our point? Remember, it's always x, comma, y. Your x value, comma, your y value. What is your x value? We say it's 4. It looks like it's right on 4, in which it is. What is your y value on the x axis? It's always 0. Now, what is our y-intercept? Well, does this line ever cross this y-axis? No. What it means for y-intercept, it means it has to cross the y-axis. Since this line is going straight up, you got two things. It's like, imagine you have this blue pen is your y-axis, and this pencil is the line. It never crosses. It has to be tilted in some way in order for it to cross the y-axis. Since it's perfectly straight up, it doesn't intercept the y-axis at all. So in fact, that this graph only has an x-intercept, and there is no y-intercept. There's none. None. Only an x-intercept. So this is actually like the only case where you would have this for a linear function. So basically, I hope this makes sense. But basically, yeah, since it doesn't cross the x-axis, it doesn't have a y-intercept. So here's an exception. Now let me show you the other way. What does a graph look like when there's no x-intercept? Just for showing, it's gonna look like this. This is your graph. I'm gonna draw it really short. This is your x, this is your y-axis, x and y-axis. This is your line. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. It intercepts the y-axis at, what is your x? It's x comma y. It's always x comma y. What is your x value at the y-axis? It's always 0. Now, what is your y value at the x-axis? It's 4. So 0 comma 4. This is your y-intercept. Now, this graph is perfectly horizontal to this x-axis. It doesn't cross in any way. It follows straight across. It doesn't intersect or anything. It just goes, it's like hovering above. It's like kind of like how we did the y-axis, but instead it's tilted. You could look at it like that. It's never going to touch each other. So, since it never touches, there's no there's no x-intercept because it doesn't cross it at all. It just stays above the x-axis in this case. So here's an example of that. So I hope you can do these problems. Again, the x-intercept, it's always going to be on the x-axis. And what is the y value at the x-axis? It's 0. It's always 0. And that's how we find the x-intercept. It's always the x value, comma 0. And then for the y value, it's on the y-axis. Or the y-intercept is on the y-axis. And what is the x value at the y-axis? It's always 0. So your y-intercept is always 0, comma, whatever your y value is, wherever it intersects. So I hope that part is clear. Let me move on to the next one. Okay, let me actually get some line paper. Again, we still have we're still talking about x and y-intercept. I'm gonna stop the video. I will begin right away when I figure out how to zoom in so it doesn't look as bad. Give me a second.